All right, let's talk about something huge. A massive shift in the world of AI. A move that could honestly change, well, everything.
I mean, this is the question everyone's been asking in AI for years, right? And guess what? We finally have an answer.
Yep, you heard that right. August 5th, 2025. OpenAI, the company that basically defined the closed-off, API-only model, just released its first OpenWweight models since way back in 2019. They've handed over the keys to the kingdom. So let's dig into why this is such a jaw-dropping, monumental pivot.
Section 1. OpenAI's surprising pivot. And look, to really get how big of a deal this is, you gotta understand, this isn't just some new product launch. This is a total, fundamental shift in strategy from one of the biggest names in the game.
I mean, think about it. For the last 5 years, when you heard OpenAI, you thought of these incredibly powerful but totally locked down models like GPT-3 and GPT-4. You could only get to them through a paid API. This move? It's a complete 180. It's like they're going back to their roots, back to that open philosophy they started with.
Okay, on to our next section, the Great AI Divide. So why does this pivot even matter? Why is everyone talking about it? Well, it's because this move lands smack dab in the middle of a huge debate, a fight, really, that's been splitting the AI world in two for years.
You see, the whole AI world has been torn between these two philosophies, proprietary versus open source. And for developers, it's always been this painful trade-off. Do you go with the super powerful, super expensive closed models? Or do you settle for the free open source options that, maybe weren't quite as good?
And here's the core of it, right? On one side, you've got proprietary LLMs. Think GPT-4. Amazing performance, but it's pricey. You access it through an API, and you're sending your data to a third party. On the other side, you've got the open source stuff like Llama or Mistral. Much more accessible, way cheaper, because you can run it yourself locally. But they've often lagged a bit behind in raw power.
So let's talk about what these models actually do. One of the most basic but crucial challenges is something called machine reading comprehension, or MRC. It's just teaching an AI to read a block of text, say an email, and pull out the right answer to a question. Sounds simple, but this task is a huge battleground for figuring out which AI is smarter.
In this chart, it lays out that trade-off perfectly. You can see it right here. GPT-4, the proprietary king, gets an 87% score. It's the best, but it's API only. It's costly. Then you have an open source model like Mistral 7B. Look at that, 83%. It's catching up fast, and it's totally free for you to run yourself. This is the tension. This is the gap that OpenAI is jumping right into.
All right, Section 3, Introducing GPT OSS. So, into this divided world, OpenAI drops its answer. A brand new family of models they're calling GPT OSS.
And they didn't just release one, they gave us two flavors. First, there's the big one, GPT OSS-120B. This is the flagship, a real powerhouse that needs about 80 gigs of VRAM. But then there's the GPT OSS-120B. This is the efficient, lightweight model. It can run on a normal consumer laptop with just 16 gigs of RAM. That right there, the fact that you can run it on your own machine, that's a potential game changer.
And don't think for a second these are some watered-down versions. They are packed with the latest and greatest tech. They're built on a mixture of experts' architecture, which is what makes them so efficient. They can do advanced, chain-of-thought reasoning. Thinking step-by-step to solve tricky problems. They're great at using tools for complex tasks, and they use something called ROPE, which helps them handle really, really long documents.
And when we say long documents, we mean it. 128,000 tokens. That's the context window. To put that in perspective, that's enough for the AI to read and analyze an entire book or a huge, complex codebase all at once.
Okay, so what does OpenWweight actually mean? It's a key distinction. Think of it like this. You get the finished, trained brain of the model, all its parameters and weights. This means you can run it, you can inspect it, you can even fine-tune it. But what you don't get is the recipe book, the original training data. You can't rebuild it from scratch. It gives you incredible freedom, but lets OpenAI keep their secret sauce.
And this is huge for any developer or business out there.
They released it under the Apache 2.0 license. That is a very permissive license. It basically means you can take these models, modify them, and even build commercial products on top of them. It's a green light for innovation.
Section 4. Performance under the hood. So, okay, they're open, they're accessible, that's great. But the million-dollar question is, are they actually any good? Let's dive into the benchmarks and see how they really perform, especially when you put them up against OpenAI's own private, best-in-class frontier models.
Whoa. Okay, just look at these scores for competitive coding. On a really tough benchmark, the new GPT OSS-120B is neck and neck with O3 Frontier. And remember, that's OpenAI's own top-secret internal model. And even the little guy, the 20B version, is putting up an amazing fight. This is seriously impressive stuff.
And don't just take my word for it. Here's a quote from Matthew Berman. "These are incredibly strong scores and beat most humans on the entire planet at coding." Let that sink in. He's not saying they're good for an open model. He's saying they're just plain good.
And it's not a one-trick pony either. This isn't just about coding. Look at this head-to-head. On general knowledge, it's a tie. On medical dialogue, it's super close. And on PhD-level science questions, it's almost identical. The GPT OSS-120B is basically going toe-to-toe with OpenAI's own best private model. This is state-of-the-art performance, and now it's in our hands.
So, let's zoom out. Section 5, a new era for AI? What does all this actually mean for the future? Because make no mistake, this release is sending massive ripples through the entire industry.
So how can you use it today? Well, the impact is immediate. You can go to Hugging Face right now and download the model weights. You can run it locally on your own computer using tools like Llama for total privacy and low cost. You can fine-tune it on your own data to create a specialist for whatever you need. You can build it into your apps for secure on-premise AI agents. The possibilities are huge.
But you might be asking, why now? Why this sudden change of heart? Well, this didn't happen in a vacuum. As one industry analysis points out, you have to look at the competitive pressure. Labs in China are releasing incredibly powerful open models, and there's a renewed push for American innovation. Those are almost certainly key factors behind this whole strategic shift.
So the ripple effect is just massive. It empowers developers and startups, giving them tools that were once only available to the giants. It lets big companies build custom AI with way more security and privacy. It even helps make AI safer because now the whole community can poke and prod at these models to find flaws. What it really does is blur that once clear line between open and proprietary AI.
And that leaves us with the biggest question of all. With the lines between open and closed AI blurring so much, who's going to drive the future? Will it be the community, the thousands of developers and researchers all over the world? Or will it be the big corporations? The next chapter of AI is suddenly wide open and more exciting than ever before.